Hey there, welcome back to the channel. I'm Alex. So in this video today, I'm going to be showing you and telling you a few tips and tricks on how to build a carpenter bee trap. And if you live in the South like I do, these tips could actually save you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on preventing wood damage. And if you don't know what a carpenter bee is, I'll try and find a picture online and put it right here. But anyways, a carpenter bee is basically a large fuzzy bee that instead of stinging people, they will drill into basically any wood you have around the house and lay their larvae. But where the real damage comes in with a carpenter bee is our birds. A bird will be flying around, see the drill hole, and know that a nice juicy larva is in there, and they'll swoop down and start pecking at that hole, making the damage even worse. So yeah, it's not a good thing at all to have carpenter bees. So if you think these tips and tricks could be useful to you, please make sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. Thanks everybody. Alrighty, so here's the first tip on building a carpenter bee trap. It may be a little obvious, but I actually think it's the most important step to the whole process. First, you want to spend some time outside, seeing where all the carpenter bees are flying, what they're drilling into, because that's where you're going to be placing the finished carpenter bee trap after you make it. Yeah, you don't want to just randomly place the trap somewhere and just hope for it to work, because that's not going to work. You want to place it in a spot where there's already activity, where the carpenter bees are already flying to. That's how you're going to have the most success at trapping them. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just walking around the deck, going nice and slow, looking for any drill holes. Yeah, I spent a lot of time outside here, so I already have a pretty good idea where to place these traps, but right now I'm just walking around one more time, seeing if there's any new spots I don't know about before I start building these suckers. Still only seeing the 2 bee drill holes that I knew about, so that's good. So I'm only planning on building 2 traps today. We'll see how that does. Alright, so now it's time to build the actual carpenter bee trap. And what's cool about this carpenter bee trap, it's pretty budget friendly. There's a very good chance you won't need to go to the store to actually buy anything, because all I'm using for this is just a scrap piece of 4x4 wood, which you can probably use about any kind of wood. A mason jar, which basically everyone has a couple laying around the house. Some drill bits, some screws, and a drill. And that's all you need. And if you want to get it slightly fancy, you can use some fence staples to be able to hang it up. So that's what I'm doing. First step is cutting down your scrap piece of wood to the right size. Doesn't really matter what size, so whatever size you feel like doing. Okay. Next step is take the lid of your mason jar and your block. You put it on the block. You get a couple screws. And you screw it in. Honestly, probably just one will do it. I'm just going to use one. All right, next step, you're going to take a drill bit. I'm using a 5/8 drill bit. I'm going to be drilling a center hole through the top into the block, but not go all the way through the block. That's the key point here. You don't want to go all the way through the block. And now we're taking a 1/2 inch size drill bit, and on 3 sides of the block, at about a 45-degree angle towards the side of the block that doesn't have the top, I'm going to drill until I meet the center hole that I just drilled. And I'm only doing this on 3 sides because the 4th side is going to be flat against a wall or something, so there's no real point of doing that, unless you want to. Yep. You keep drilling into the block until you feel it sink into the hollow cavity that you already formed there. It's pretty easy to tell when you hit it. Now I'm just gonna go back through the center one, clean it up somewhat in the middle. You want to make all the tunnels that you just drilled as smooth as possible. So now this is what we have. We got a hole on the bottom, 3 sides with a 45-degree angle with a 1/2-inch size drill bit. Now we can put the top on. Yep. That's basically the trap right there. On the side that doesn't have the hole, you take a staple and you just put it in. Ta-da! Yep, so now we have a fully built Carpenter bee trap with a place to hang it. That's what the staple is for. Pretty easy. Yep. I'm just going to make another one real quick and then go hang these up, and I'll give you one last tip that should make these more effective than just hanging it up by itself. Alrighty, so now it's time to hang up the Carpenter bee trap that you just made. And when doing this, you want to go back to the areas you went by earlier and found all the drill holes and place them as close to, if not over, the drill holes. If you can place it over the drill hole, that's even better because it kind of like blocks off the hole and forces the bees to use the trap here. So that's awesome. That's what I'll be trying to do. And the last and final tip is after you have this trap hung up and you started collecting the bees into the jar, is you never want to actually completely empty the jar of bees. I guess the dead bees send out like a pheromone or something, and that pheromone attracts more bees. So yeah, never completely empty the jar. And if you have one jar that's collecting a lot of bees and another jar that's not collecting any, I would suggest taking out a couple bees from one jar, put it into that empty one, and see if that helps out. Yeah. Here's the hole. Here's my trap. Gonna put it right over the hole. See? Right over the hole. The trap is set, so now it's just time for the waiting game. See if this baby actually starts to work. And if it does start to work, I'll film a segment in a future video and attach a link from that video to this video so you guys can see some results. Oh yeah. Anyways, I think that's gonna be it for this video. But just a quick recap on all the tips I was talking about is that first you want to be outside, observe all the Carpenter bees, see where they're coming and going from, try and find all the drill holes so you know where to place all the traps. And when you're building the actual trap, you want to use like a 1/2-inch size drill bit. And when you have the traps hanging up and you start to collect bees, never fully empty out all the bees because the dead bees seem to send out like a pheromone and attracts more bees. So always leave at least a couple of bees in the trap. And like I said, if one trap isn't collecting any at all and one's collecting a lot, try putting a couple from that one trap into that trap that doesn't have any. Maybe it'll work out for you. I don't know. Anyways, thanks everybody for watching. If you found this video helpful or interesting at all, please make sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. Thanks everybody, and I'll see you guys next time.